Why, hello there YouTube and welcome to a Who review. I am Davros and I'm a Whovian, and today I review Doctor Who, Wishworld and the Reality War. So this is the two-part finale of Season 2. We're trapped in a world sprung and hang on, it says traps are sprung and old enemies unite as the Doctor and Belinda finally arrive home to find a very different world. Can the Doctor see the truth before midnight arrives? And reality war, battle rages across the skies as the unholy trinity unleashes their deadliest ambition. The Doctor, Belinda and Ruby have to risk everything in the quest to save one innocent life. So that's the essential plot through the two-part finale. So what did I like about this one? Well, first of all, the Rani goes to some time period where she acquires a young baby who is the god of wishes, and we find that Conrad is, now telling the stories of Doctor Who, and everyone's under some bizarre brain control thing. We get the return of Units and Mel and Kate and Shirley and that. But disabled people can kind of sort of see past this whole wish world. Of course, when it hits midnight, the whole world comes crashing and it restarts again as the Doctor is rescued by none other than Anita from Joy to the World, who works at the Time Hotel and uses her days off to find the Doctor. And of course, we get brief cameos from the Daleks. Probably the closest we'll ever get to the 15th Doctor having the Daleks on screen, and it's not even him sharing a scene with the Daleks. So we get a cameo from the 3rd Doctor, the 11th Doctor, and we see that. And of course, the Doctor remembers everything and remembers the Rani, and of course she plans to bring back Omega because, believing through bending reality, she can restore the Time Lords, because we find out that the Time War has made Time Lords sterile, so they can't reproduce, thinking maybe that's why bigeneration has come about, because we know that the 15th Doctor came from a bigeneration and the Rani came from a bigeneration. Only the Mrs. Flood Rani is now like the second in command or such. But yeah, this is all a world that Conrad has wished up as well, and using the God of Wishes to grant that. So yeah, I thought this had good visuals to the most part, but a lot of it was drowning in CGI. Yeah, I like Ncuti Gatwa as he returned to as the Doctor. He played the Doctor in a bowler hat and a suit before changing back into his kilt and waistcoat, which I like. I like the outfit he wore in that one. Of course, we see that the Doctor and Belinda are a couple and they have a daughter, Poppy. But of course, when the Doctor uses Anita to keep time flowing and everyone at Unit remembering, because during the Wish World they thought there was some insurance firm. So yeah, I liked the characters, and of course Poppy we all remember from Space Babies, now a little toddler, and she is also a apparently the Doctor and Belinda's daughter. But of course the Doctor eventually builds a zero chamber from the help of Susan Triad. Yes, Susan Twist returns for this two-parter, now working at Unit, and we find out that by putting her inside there with Belinda, they'll survive when the Doctor fixes reality. Of course, we do get the return of another evil foe, Omega. So in the revival era, the only Time Lords we've ever seen the return of is the Master and Rassilon, finally, in this season, I like that we got the return of the Rani and Omega, who was long overdue a return. But the way they went about that, I was very disappointed. The Doctor gets out the Vindicator, and Omega's return is like a big, giant, like skeleton-like creature. And the Doctor uses the Vindicator that he's been using all season to try and get Belinda home, and blasts him with it, sending him back into the seal of Omega and stopping him. And that was very brief. It was a very brief moment in that, and he also ate the Rani, whilst the Mrs. Flood Rani makes a getaway with a time ring, and that's how the Rani's been surviving all that time, by a time ring. All that was just handled. It just felt rushed, and I thought that was very disappointing, you know. Also, you know, when the Doctor fixes everything, only Ruby can remember Poppy, because Poppy eventually fades away because she doesn't exist. But then the Doctor decides he's going to fix this and twist and bend reality by any means necessary. And in doing so, he actually summons the 13th Doctor. So I like that. I liked, Jodie Whittaker's cameo as the 13th Doctor when she has a heart-to-heart with her future self and, feels that this is a bad idea, but thinking there's no reasoning with this, and helps him out. And, of course, the Doctor, does that, and then she goes back to her timeline. The Doctor then uses his regenerative energy to change reality, and he does so, and then we have this whole thing changed from the entire season where Belinda wants to get home to her daughter Poppy, because Poppy's her daughter. But the Doctor isn't her dad's someone who she's not with anymore. And yeah, he bids her farewell and then starts to regenerate. And of course, regenerates into Billie Piper. And so many theories have come about that. What is going on? Why is it that? What's happening here? I honestly don't know. I have theories, and maybe I'll do a theory video on that at some point. But yeah, I didn't like how they handled it. I feel they should have done the regeneration and ended it ambiguously, seeing as they didn't have a new actor. Also, this ending was reshot. You see, that we all now know there was an original ending where the Doctor and Belinda were celebrating and dancing in a nightclub, where Susan, the Doctor's granddaughter Susan, and Poppy were watching them from afar, and it would end there. But of course, we now know that because Disney were leaving it in the air about renewing their contract or their deal or whatever, Ncuti Gatwa felt the need that he was turning down many other opportunities to be in other projects, so he unfortunately decided to leave, so they had to reshoot the whole ending, which is a shame really, because I don't think this Disney deal did the show any favours in my opinion. Yeah, it gave them better budget and money, but I feel Disney got too involved with its creation, too involved with creativity and that, even though they said they wouldn't. They'd just give them money and have them stream it internationally on Disney Plus. But yeah, but as of the time of making this video, we now know that their contract is done after the war between the land and the sea. But yeah, this finale was a bit of a mess. I guess I like the first part and I like the second part, but just not that brilliant. Especially the way they handled the villains in it, like the Rani and Omega. It's like they rushed that so the Doctor could do that. It was just, like I say, a bit of a mess. And I was really a bit disappointed by it. And also, seeing that regeneration where it becomes Billie Piper. Of course, she wasn't credited as the Doctor, so we don't know what's going on, and we're probably not going to get any answer to that anytime soon until Christmas 2026, because we now know Doctor Who is returning without Disney's involvement in 2026 with a Christmas special, and hopefully then we can get another series and no more gap years, because that's something Russell T Davies promised, when he took back the show as showrunner. No more gap years, but unfortunately we're getting one. Yeah, it's a shame, but yeah, this finale could have been a lot better, but it just got a bit flat towards the end. and I gotta say, I was very disappointed with how it all came out. But yeah, we see the Doctor seeing that star of joy, joy to the world before he regenerates. Ncuti Gatwa, however, did a great performance, but I'm also good that he's gone now, and he's not, I feel that, I wish he could have just stayed for at least one more season, but, as I said, he had his reasons, and that, so, yeah. So let's get to my ratings. I think I've gone on enough now as it is. The performances, I'll give them an 8. The writing, I'm going to have to give that a 7. The visuals, I'll give that an 8 on my personal. I'll give it a 7. Yeah, not the best finales. As in Russell T Davies's first tenure, his finales went from good to epic, but they just hadn't this run. I feel like Disney stuck their nose in a bit too much, and yeah. But I hope that, they use this gap year to now fix all these errors that Disney have sort of stuck in. And that, anyway, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, that's it for this Who review. Have you seen the Wish World and the Reality War? Let me know what you think down below in the comments. If you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up, share with your friends, and feel free to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and to hit that notification bell. All my social media links are linked down below in the description, so feel free to check all it out. I've been Davros the Whovian, and this has been a Who review. So until next time, run for your life.